Recording? Oh yes. Alright. I haven't made a video in a while, and I have a new project. Probably should finish some of the projects that I have, which this is one of them. But the thing that a lot of people were going gaga over for a while is something called the DF Spirit. There's a micro flying wing. I think a lot of people were trying to make it sub 250. I don't know if that's going to be able to accomplish that with what I'm going to try to do. There we go. It's kind of cool. There we go. But I'm trying to achieve a full iNav micro build, and I have pulled the smallest equipment I could possibly find. My project got interrupted a little bit, of course, because of COVID and all that nonsense. And the Walksnail systems were not out at the time. And I was going to do the Rush, I think it was a mini tank, Rush FPV 5.8, really super small VTx. But now we've got Walksnail, so I mean full HD build, something really super small. But this plane is a little bit complicated. It has its issues. First of all, I've seen people, you know, the major players. Powell Spychalski built one, I thought. But the problem with them is that they don't have a spar, and that's not good. I don't like that, because I'm going to probably increase the wing loading pretty good on this thing, and I don't want the thing doing this crap in flight, and it will, because I have a lot of flying wing experience, because I've flown real flying wings, because I've come out of hang gliding, and I will again if I get the opportunity. But flying wings are their own little beasts, and you have to basically treat them differently than regular airplanes, of course. But it's a cool little plane. It's super light. It looks like it's EPO of some sort, or maybe EPP, molded EPP. But you know, the one that I've started on, that I'll show in a minute, is, you know, I've got it a little bit hacked up, but I did put spars in it. But there are certain things that you have to do to smaller wings to make them fly right. Like, one thing is this gap here. This is not good. So you can put like a very thin mylar over that to help that out, and you won't have that gap anymore. Another thing is the trailing edge. On any airplane, the thinner you can make the trailing edge, the better. Now, this trailing edge, if you can see it, it's maybe a little bit over 1/8 of an inch, I'd say, maybe 3 millimeter. And the reason why they did that is because when they mold these things, they don't want to have what's called burn through, because you can only make the trailing edge so thin in the mold without, you know, it being kind of useless when you pull it out. But one thing you can do to improve that, to improve your aerodynamics, is you can point the trailing edge, okay, and make it, you know, bring a fine point to it. Now, I thought about using quarter I don't know, I guess 1/8 inch triangle stock, and putting that on the back like that, which is possible. That would bring things to a kind of a point, but unfortunately it's wider than that. Another thing you can do is you can put, like, you can buy very small, but you could probably use mylar and glue it to the bottom of the wing, and then you take either micro balloons or baking soda, and you make like a fillet, kind of like you know, and you just would scrape it kind of like this, put super glue on it. So I haven't decided if I'm going to do that or not yet, so we'll see. I don't know. Just adding weight, you know, because it's going to be not going to be real heavy, but I doubt I'll be able to make it sub 250. So let's take a look at what I've got so far. This I started on a while ago. Now this thing is where I'm at. This is a I think it's a F411 Mini SE. Yeah, that's it, Mini SE flight controller, Matek. They don't, of course, it's end of life. They don't make them anymore. I don't think anybody's doing many 411 chips much anymore. But it's small, and it'll work. And I was looking for, was it a 2020? Is it? But they make smaller ones I've seen for whoops, but nobody has a target for iNav. So there's one made by Happy Model, which is pretty cool, and it would be perfect. But you know, this thing's full featured. It's got everything you need, you know, except for of course a compass. But now they're saying with the new iNav, you don't need a compass anymore. That's what Powell was saying. But you have to install one to get everything set up and fly it, and then you can remove it, and then it, you know, I don't know why that is, but whatever. So you can see that what I've done is I've actually put some standoffs, sunk some standoffs in there to mount it. I don't think you really need to use the little grommets, but I did that just to keep it, you know, like a press fit. And I have the whole thing basically wired to a certain extent. These are for the servos. I might replace that. That's a little big and bulky. That's of course 1 through 6. Okay. I don't know how many timers this thing has, because some of them, you know, they get a little bit weird. You know, this thing only needs 2, maybe 3, because I plan on putting strobes in it because it's small and you want to see it. I have a couple of ideas. But what I did to start really was to, let me remove this thing. It's underneath a piece of carbon that I used as a spar. So I'm going to have to get it out of here so you can see a little bit better. And it has a barrow on it, so that's good. So it's got a barometer. And I've got it all soldered for whatever. I'm going to have to go through it. GPS, yes, it will have a GPS too. And this is the motor, which is basically, what does it say? God, I can't even read it. 6,000 kV. F15 XV 6000. So I bought this, I think at a suggestion of somebody. I don't know if it will even power it, if it's going to be strong enough, but it's going to be, we're going to try it. Okay. Now the spars that I put in it, of course, I put it in an area that, and it's much stiffer than the other one, you see. With the cap on, it'll definitely be a little bit better too. I mean, I want to be a little wary about using magnets, and I may not. I don't know. I mean, I may put a magnetometer. I don't know if that'll affect anything, but you know, the magnets probably would be good. Of course, digital servos. What are these? ES. You know, these are Emax ES 9251s. Okay. So I've got my servos picked out. So what I did is I put a spar on the top. Okay, and I thought I put one on the bottom. Maybe I didn't. Oh no, I got spars underneath of this. I did that just for visuals. I mean, just for actually to cover up the spar. Okay, and so that you could see it during the daytime, because there's nothing better than day-glow orange for visibility. Now I've decided to put fins on it because this thing is supposed to be tailless and finless, but I'm sure it's going to be unstable. I've seen a few people fly these, and it's not good. It's not good. It needs stabilization, because you know, if you're going to want it to track and get a little bit of video, yeah, you're going to need to have some fins on it. So I just took some regular ABS and cut them out, got them all nice and aligned. So that's where I started, and it does have spar, like I said. Yeah, see, this is nice and stiff here. Okay, so I will cover those up. That's a fact. Now, I mean, the one problem you have is running wires. You know, I'm probably going to run strobes in it, like I said, so that you can see it. Now, here they are here. This is a couple of strobes. These are called Luxeons. They're very small and they're very, very bright, and they don't take hardly anything to power them. And the company that I bought the controller from is a company called Flytron, and they were big for a long time in the early days of FPV. But now, I think they're still in existence, but they're in Turkey. So I actually have a unit here, which is one that I messed the trace up. So, and you know, it doesn't weigh too much, but it was from an old quad or something, and you can run 3 or 4 LEDs off of this thing. So I've got a couple of ideas for this, but you know, in order to you know, to do that, they're gonna be at the tip, and I'm sure it's a red and a green. Yeah, red and a green. So I'm gonna hack this out and put it most likely right there. That's what I'll do, and then run the wires. Probably slice the leading edge down. Okay, and then I'll have some strobes, because you know you can't see, this thing is small, and I'm not going to be able to see it, I'm sure. So what is this in here? I don't know. So like I said, I plan to run the strobes. I also have another idea where I had a, where is it? My daughter had a Halloween or Christmas LED strip, and they've already got the wires, which is kind of cool, but they've got LEDs going down the strip, and I was thinking about maybe doing that on the leading edge. And I can make it, because these are strobes. This is a strobe unit. It will flash. The whole leading edge will flash, plus what I have at the end. But I don't know. I got to check the voltage on it. See, these are 1.5, so it's 3 volts, which is pretty nominal for LEDs. And not only that, but these are lacquered wires, which means you can just use them the way they are. Just have to scrape the lacquer off the solder. It's an interesting old school concept. Magnetometer, if I decide I want to run it. Everything I got is pretty small. That's about as small as I could find. You know, Pal Spychowski said you don't need it anymore, which is, I agree. But you know what? I have it. And in order to set it up, I might use it. This is my old Rush FPV. Yeah, that's the old Rush. That's the old VTx. We won't be using that. And the antennas for the Walksnail are left-hand circular. The camera died. Try to get through this a little quicker. Okay, so yeah, I got the True RC antennas for the Walksnail. This is the Walksnail, which is like micro small now. I mean, look at this form factor now. Look at that camera. Of course, without the heatsink, which is okay. Thinking about cutting a slot on the bottom of the plane, making a scoop to keep it cool, but also using like a 5-volt fan while it's on the ground to keep it cool, because I know they overheat. Okay, and True RC, the best freaking antennas in the world, had to send all the way to Canada for that. What else do we have here? We got the servos, the batteries. Batteries, 1000 milliampere. That should be enough. The draw on a lot of this stuff is pretty low, so I think we'll get away with, you know, propellers. There's the propellers for the motor. They're pretty big, 2.5 inch, so I hope it powers it. I'm not sure. If not, it's a pretty common motor mount, and it should be able to get something bigger. Of course, I have, what else do I have? Oh, yeah, some step downs. Sometimes you need to step down the voltage. Some micro step downs. This right here is a GPS. This is a GPS that, it's the smallest one in the world that I could find, really. What it's used for is it's used for the ballooning thing, where people take the GoPros and they put it on a balloon and take it up in the stratosphere. But it runs on 3.3. You can't overpower it. You cannot overpower it. That's actually the ceramic antenna. Uptronics, it's called. It was about 30 bucks, but it is the absolute smallest. So where I'm going to put that on a plane, I don't know yet. I don't know, because you know I got to balance things too. Got to worry about CG. I don't want to add any weight. This is an old, I think it's a DYS speed controller. Plenty of amps and everything, and I think it actually has a power. I can power LEDs off it, so it has a power that comes off of it too, which is kind of cool. That's all I need for that. The buzzer, I've got an old one from a toy. This, if I can get that to work, super light aluminum. That would be better than this thing. This thing's a lunker. Don't want to use that. What else do I have to do here? What else? Of course, we went over the servos. Oh yeah, the RMRC. I gotta have some way to monitor the milliamperes. So RMRC has got these things, which are pretty cool. Why did they heat shrink it? If you can remove the XT-30, you've got a chip there, and it's got a shunt, and you can run the milliamperes, because you know without a telemetry ESC. You know, it's like, forget it. I thought this had telemetry on it. It doesn't. It's like I said, it's just a wire to power LEDs at the tip of your arm of your quad. But it might be a little hard to get this off. But once I unsolder it, I could get rid of the weight for the XT-30, and then you you know, you've got a way to measure milliamperes, because with this thing it's going to be crucial, because, you know, I don't know how much flight time I'm going to get out of it. All this stuff sucking off of 1000 mA, so I don't know. So that's kind of an overview of my whole little project that I'm starting. So stick with it and keep watching. I'll have a few more video ups here and there as I progress.